So go ahead.
Yeah. The thing that comes to mind for me, and you touched on this in terms of when we almost gave up on this film. It was the last thing we were shooting for Rabbit. We were going to wrap, after this scene, and we had to shoot the underwater scene. And so for those,
thank you for that, by the way. It's been an asset for our highlight reels and things.
That was honestly maybe the thing that I was most excited to shoot. I mean, no one taught us how to do it. I was kind of just like, okay, how can we make this work? And so we were like, okay, we're going to shoot in a pool. We're going to shoot in the nighttime so we can kind of control the light more. And we're going to get a spotlight and we're going to shine it directly into the water. We want to create kind of maybe some rays or some patterns, and like color grade the crap out of it to make it look maybe almost abyss-like. That was kind of the vision going into it. But, actually getting into the pool at midnight and shooting this thing was like the hardest thing that I've had to work myself up to doing. And I think partially because, when we're filming and, it's we filmed this, we had 2 crew members. We had our friend Jonah doing audio, and actually that was the only crew member now that I'm thinking about it.
I was going to ask that question, but you basically had no one.
Yes. But we had to, we hadn't eaten anything all day. I hadn't eaten anything because, when you're hyped up on like the excitement of filming something, you have no time. You have no time to eat, which you always have time to eat, and everyone should be eating when they're on their film set. But we weren't, and so we were just like the grumpiest versions of ourselves. And I was like, I cannot do this. Like, we need to give up. Like, this is bad. I mean, at that point, I hadn't looked at much of the footage. Like, we had no idea what it was. It's like, am I going to spend months, like hours and hours editing this film? Like, this is kind of crap. And it was like, we should just give up, kind of. And thank God no one in the room let me do that, because, someone made me a frozen tamale, and I had a cup of chai, and I got in that pool. We got in that pool and we filmed for like 2 hours, maybe. It was exhausting, cold. We did the same, we rented, I bought this like really, really cheap, sketchy underwater camera case, and we filmed we used the same camera that we used for the whole rest of the film underwater. And it was like, we're trusting this case, but it was like basically impossible to use. Like, I had no visibility underwater, and we just did it over and over and over and over again, taking the camera out of the bag to check the footage, and then getting back in and doing it again and doing it again and doing it again. And that was the hardest thing. That was the hardest part of the project for me.